like.
Is that live?
Live.
Live, okay.
Yeah, it's fine. Evening, everyone. Welcome along to the Winners' Enclosure live. It's not Friday night live. It is a Glorious Goodwood live preview. Myself and Niall Hannity having a look ahead to some of the best of the action for the week ahead down at Goodwood, and different feel to the whole thing this time around, Niall. But it's a week that we always enjoy, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great week, and you know me, Chris. Genuinely, if I wouldn't say if I didn't mean it, but I think the racing's fantastic. Royal Ascot, with the way with lockdown etc., came upon us very quickly. You know, 2-year-olds, you saw some of them only once. Some of them you didn't see before the running in the likes of the cover race, etc. We're going to talk about tomorrow's feature, the Gold Cup. For me, Chris, it's definitely the best race this flat season. Then you've got Siskin later on in the week. You've got Batash, who's split opinion maybe, or he's very exciting horse in a race that has been good to him. But I think the Gold Cup tomorrow is absolutely top drawer.
Yep, and you normally think everything's crap. You're not that bothered by it, eh?
Well, no, I do. Yeah,
That,
yeah. And you're a bit the same. We're not as like sentimental as some people, which is like fine. It, you know, I know you look at them as betting opportunities, and obviously we're that much. Sometimes you're that close to it, you don't appreciate it, and you have to take a step away to appreciate it. But Stradivarius is like talk about him. He's been a wonderful horse, and he's a bit like Yates was before them stairs. Sometimes you get a really good horse, you question like what. It's hard to gauge what they've achieved because what they run up against. But like Stradivarius has been an excellent horse, absolutely excellent. He's got a BHA rating of 125. He's 8-13, I think, with some firms tomorrow. If he goes and wins tomorrow, what you know, he's 8-13 to win. He won the race as a 3-year-old. We know his record in the race. But the likes of Santiago taking him on, the 3-year-old getting all the weight. Eagles by Day, he's unexposed with a yard. Spanish Mission's an interesting runner. Who Dares wins, the only one in handicap company who's got a lot on his plate, but it's a proper deep race.
Yeah, no, it is a brilliant race, and the great. I mean, Stradivarius, he is a great stayer, isn't he? And I think the way that he won the Gold Cup last time out at Ascot was as good as you've seen him. I mean, he absolutely blitzed him, didn't he?
Absolutely.
Just all class.
He's he appears to be quite an intelligent racehorse as well. And the thing is, when you're looking at Ryan Moore, Tom Marquand, James Doyle, Atsini, Ocean Murphy, Danny Tudor, they're thinking, how do we beat Stradivarius? Ground trip? Do we go fast? Do we go steady and try and sprint by him? I don't know the answer. I really don't know the answer to it. And he's a bit like his jockey. He comes alive to the big occasion. They had plenty of rain run. I was speaking to Jim Crowley an hour ago. He wasn't riding this afternoon. He's playing golf at Goodwood, and it looked pretty horrendous. But it dries out very quick, as you know. And the good news is later in the week that it's really settled. You're down there Wednesday, Thursday. You'll need your sun cream. It's proper warm, but it's proper flat racing. Yeah. Later in the week, there's rain around today, bits of showers maybe tomorrow. And then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday settled before turning at the weekend again. So it's going to be proper good flat racing ground.
Yep. Currently calling it good to soft in places. We'll get back round to the Goodwood Cup in a second. Tonight's live preview is in conjunction with the Betfair Exchange. And during the course of this week, they are doing the bet streak on the Betfair Exchange. So if you bet £20 on the 145 at Goodwood tomorrow, then you can start a £20 free bet streak. So I think it's basically if you back the winner, you then get another free bet. Or I think you just have to have a bet on the 145, I think it is. And then you get a free bet. And if that wins, you get another free bet. And you can just keep on rolling them up. So that's a good thing to be doing. Those are exchange bets, not sportsbook bets. Now, that's the 145, Niall. So people might be looking to try and find the winner of the 145, and if they are, they want to be betting it on the exchange with that particular offer in mind. What do you fancy in what is a pretty competitive looking 18 runner 10 furlong handicap?
It gets easier than this. It really does get easier. If you're tying me down quickly, I thought fifth position his run in the John Smith's Cup was pretty decent. It was like it was similar to this here, chock full of horses. You can make a case for being well handicapped. He's rated 104. He's okayly drawn and stalled 10. He's got blinkers on for the first time. I must admit, I didn't look at him and think he looked an absolute mutt or anything, but it's interesting they've gone for that angle. Roger Varian's still operating around a 20% strike rate the last 14 days. It's what is it? Sort of 5-1 the field race. They make Sir Michael's Dervaux favourite. There was money for Sullius of Roger Fells tonight. I saw it. Couldn't really see that. Sky Defender will bring them along.
What price is Dave's horse, Tin and Darley?
Tim and Darley is 7-1.
Yeah, I think he's drawn next
quarter. Yeah,
yeah. He
was just behind the horse I mentioned, and it was a messy enough John Smith's Cup. They went quite quick. They come over to the middle of the stand side. I'm saying fifth position. You finished. No, he finished third. Yeah, you were fifth.
And Tin and Darley did finish in fifth position, just to confuse things.
Yeah, exactly. Fifth position. So, I could that's the race where I think could be a key form angle. Obviously, David O'Mara's are flying along.
You're a big fan of his jockey, aren't you?
Oh, I think Danny Tudhope's. I'm obviously a jockey's agent. He's not one of mine because people sometimes think that. But I think he's got everything. He's got absolutely everything. He's brilliant, and he's riding at the top of his form at the minute. He's not down there Wednesday or Thursday looking at jockey bookings, but he's down there for some interesting rides. And yeah, they were the two that come out of that race. Sky Defender will bring them along. He was tailed off. He won Derby Day, so he'll probably frame the race from stall 13. And there are a lot of the likes of Your Hard, Nicholas T, Restorer. A lot of these we know plenty about. Unlike the John Smith's Cup, where it was chock full of young 4-year-olds coming through. There's plenty more older horses here. But I think fifth position was the one that the blinkers helped him in any way at all. I thought he could be the one to beat. He was 10-1, where he finished in front of Tin and Darley. He's 7-1. So I just thought these double figures on the exchange. You mentioned that that offer on the Betfair, on the Betfair exchange. So he's probably going to be he's going to be bigger than that. So he was the one. He was the way I was coming down in the race. Yeah,
I'll go with Tin and Darley. I thought he shaped nicely last time out. De River's form is pretty good as well. He finished third at Doncaster on his return. The horses in fourth and fifth both came out and won on their next start. I've got a couple of questions coming in. Banker for tomorrow is one of them. We'll get back to that question once we've looked at a few more races tomorrow. And Will was just asking Niall, a trainer to follow this week. Well, usually
Mark Johnson's the trainer.
Yeah, that's Mark Johnson, the man to follow. Now, I was chatting to Charlie Johnson at Beverley the other day, and he said, look, they won't be peppering the races with as many runners because the prize money isn't as good as what it has been. So they won't throw everything they've got at it. But I suppose in a way that makes him even more of a trainer to follow because they'll be pinpointing their darts really. Yeah, they're not just throwing everything at it. They're picking their battles, I suppose. And
yeah, but if you look,
he'll have winners, won't he?
Well, if you look what they've declared the Tuesday and the Wednesday, they've declared plenty. They've doubled and trebled up in several races. So, they're picking.
He was saying that they'll run 2 and 3 instead of 4 and 5.
Yeah,
which they would do if the prize money was as good. But he will have winners, won't he? Is Joe down there?
He's down all week. He's down all week. He's down all week. He's got bits of chances, but again, we'll come on to him as we go through them.
Yeah, I've seen he's there the next couple of days. Wasn't sure if he was there for the full week, but
he'll be there all week.
Sure, he'll have a few chances. Let's have a look at the big race tomorrow. Then the Cab Goodwood Cup. It's not really a punting race, I don't think, is it? Oh well,
well, if we're wanting of a moan because we like moaning, it's a shame there's not one more runner for 8 races, isn't there? Because it would have a brilliant future.
If you were going to back one, if there had have been some rag in there,
Eagles by Day is your answer. Eagles by Day is your answer.
He's the one that you'd have backed each way.
Yeah, all day long.
Yeah.
Well, you think
really in a 7-runner race.
You can Glenn's 100-1. Who Dares Wins is up to 107. You know, he needs a few of them to take go around the wrong loop really to win. You have Spanish Mission and Eagles by Day. Yeah, he's the obvious one.
Yeah,
he's just like his form, like the King Edward last year with Michael Bell. He wasn't with David O'Mara long when he won the Silver Cup at York last time out. He's a gorgeous, gorgeous looking horse. He's out of Miss United, who won a Galway hurdle and won a Goodwood handicap. What did she win? She won a good race at Glorious Goodwood. Do you remember she broke down on the winning line? Jim Crowley dismounted and she was retired to stud. So she's got Eagles by Day. So the dam, not sure that means a lot, but the dam won at the track. The dam, for a little bit of boring thing that you probably will not really like, is also the Eagle by Day's half sister. Full sister runs in the 4:55. Claire de Lune. That's Eagles by Day's full sister.
Ah,
who
right.
has the chance of Philly's handicap, trained by a trainer you like, George Scott. So,
right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I wonder if they haven't got it up yet. I was sort of half wondering whether Betfair would do a 3 on the exchange if they do a 3-place market, but there's
market, I'd be all over Eagles by Day.
Yeah, there's not one there at the moment. But so in terms of this race, then, Niall, we're talking about a market that isn't even there at the minute. Stradivarius 4-7, Santiago 2-1. Do you think one of those two will probably win?
Yeah.
Well, they will, won't they? I mean, probably is the answer.
Eagles by Day is a horse. I work with Martin Dixon, if you know, at York when this horse won. He done us a good turn. He was only 28 days, I think, since he last ran for Michael Bell. He's a gorgeous looking horse, honestly. Stradivarius is a little chestnut. Big bays normally do stand out. He is beautiful. He beat proper sort of Group 3 strike, Group 2 horses, the likes of Communique, horses that we know a lot about. It wasn't like Universal Order, Ranch Hand was a handicapper. Moonlight Spirit didn't run its race. So it wasn't like a massive, as a piece of form, it wasn't massively strong compared to what he's running in tomorrow, but he's just unexposed from the top yard. He's the one that I think, TriCast, Stradivarius, Santiago, and Eagles by Day, it makes it such a good race.
Yeah, it is. It is a really good race. Me and Dave had a good chat about this on the day that the entries were going in, and he was sort of saying to me by the gallop, am I overestimating Eagles by Day throwing him in this? And I said, absolutely not. I think he's well worth a go. Look, we're up against it trying to beat the likes of Stradivarius and Santiago. Chances are you go and finish third. But the manner that he beat those horses in, and they were solid Group 3 horses, and I know he only won by half a length, but it was just the manner of it made you think, yeah, that's a good horse. And given his dam, he's going to improve, you would think, for a step up in trip. So he had some real spice to the mix. But tell you what, it's a lot of weight to give away to the 3-year-old, isn't it?
It is.
Queen's Bars winner, an Irish Derby winner, and he's only got 8 stone 8 on his back, and these other horses are carrying 9-9. It's a lot.
Yeah, it's a massive, But that's the weight for age, and that's the weight he's been allocated. But the handicapper has him 4 pound inferior, so he's entitled. He's entitled to be there. I didn't think that. I'll probably have a couple of quid on him each way. Eagles by Day.
Yeah,
and even the place in the Betfair market, because I still think he's very, very interesting. The 3-year-olds. It's only this time of year you work out. When you get to the Coral Eclipse in normal years, we always guess the colts look yaks, the fillies look strong, vice versa. But it's only this time of year you really work out how good the 3-year-olds are, isn't it?
Yeah.
So especially Santiago is a very good horse. But if the 3-year-olds are going to come up short and Eagles by Day is improving, I just think it's a fantastic race. I said to you, you know me, I'll come on here if I'm allowed back on and don't get excited about many races, but if Stradivarius goes and wins well and Santiago's second and Eagles by Day's third, I'll tip my cap and say he's a proper stayer. Which he is a proper stayer. Look at his CV already. He's a class horse.
He definitely is.
But I'm looking forward to it massively.
Yeah, let's have a look at the other 2 group races on the afternoon. We've got a question coming in on the Lennox. Someone saying, Steve Whitburn is saying, fancy safe voyage in the Lennox tomorrow. low draw, which is an advantage. So I was going to go to the vintage stakes, but seeing as that particular question has come up with the Lennox, we may as well have a chat about it. And the point that you make, Steve, about Safe Voyage and Stall 1 is a very good one, because the low draws are a big advantage. And Space Blues, who I would imagine is going to be the favourite for the race. Yeah, he is. 5-2. He's drawn Stall 10 now, and that does pose a little bit of a problem for William Buick.
Yeah, it does. It does. There's no doubt. I suppose Safe Voyage and Space Blues will both be hoping that there's plenty of rain around. They both act with plenty of give in the ground, don't they?
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
But Safe Voyage 10. You're looking at some of the handicap. Yeah, it's not totally insurmountable. You wouldn't pick it by no stretch. But Safe Voyage is a horse who he can through the handicap ranks. You think of his best form, you normally think Haydock, don't you? He runs Haydock very well. Haydock's a very
Haydock in bad ground. I mean, I know he won at Epsom. He broke a track record, but
I'm going to say
track record, that isn't it?
Yeah, he beat Vela Kent, who's a badly handicapped handicapper.
It's like how many good 7 furlong races do you run at Epsom? Not very many. And the one good race that they have there is that race, but it's normally on Oaks Day. On Oaks Day, they have the rails out.
So
they were in because it was all on one card. So that it's kind of a little bit of a bogus track record, really, that he managed to set there. But anyway, you were saying Haydock soft ground. That's kind of what you think of as his bag, isn't it?
And he was third in the Kipco Group 1 last back end. Jamie Spencer rode him, and it was a typical Spencer. They got racing a long way out. He was a never near third, but he ran an absolute career best, ridden to be Nick third, if you know what I mean. It was a fantastic run, but I think if he rode him to win the race, he might have finished 5th or 6th. He's been a great horse coming through handicap ranks. The more rain that falls would enhance his chance for sure. Yeah,
definitely. And Space Blues, he'll go on anything, really. The favourite. Stall 10 is a little bit of a worry, but I just wonder whether Buick will sort of sit him mid-pack and then just off the bend try and switch him out and quick nut, because there isn't a great deal of pace on him, is there?
No, there's not. There's not.
Marie's Diamond, and that's about your lot.
Yeah, Marie's Diamond, well, the Sue's on it from stall 2, I'd imagine that will lead. Was flattered, obviously, in his penultimate run. I thought, I'm not just saying, Joe Fallon rode it last twice, but it was flattered at the Royal meeting where it got to give me in front in the Queen Anne, and they're all climbing over each other. Do you remember? It was very rough in behind. It was third at 40-1, and then last time out went to gallop and it was run over, I was just looking at Goodwood tonight. It's got an email from the track saying, good to soften places. Mainly overcast day. There's chance of another 1 mil of rain this evening. Tuesday onwards looking dry and sunny, so good to soften places. The way that dries out, Chris, as you know, I'd imagine this is largely going to dry to good ground before Safe Voyage gets on the track. Yeah, so that would temper that would put me off him a little bit.
Yeah. What about Sir Dancelot? He's won the race the last 2 years, but I think both years they've gone a good gallop, and he's come with a late run, hasn't he?
Yeah, exactly. And again, he's done it in pretty poor ground. David Ellsworth has had a winner. He had a winner 13th of July. Since then, he's had a couple of seconds and thirds, in fairness to him. Obviously doesn't run that many, but he just hasn't looked as a good a form, has he, this time around?
No, I don't think he has. I mean, the draw is a worry with Space Blues, but I think he's got an excellent chance. The other horse that I sort of quite like is Duke of Hazzard for Paul and Oliver Cole. David Probert, he won twice at Goodwood last year. He won a handicap he won the Thoroughbred Stakes at this particular meeting, and then he won the Celebration Mile at the end of the month. So they were both over a mile, and obviously this is 7. So maybe that's in the back of your mind. But he's he broke his maiden over 7 furlongs at this meeting the year before. So he's a horse that peaks at this meeting, and he's a reasonably interesting runner, I reckon.
Yeah. No, I grant that. I suppose I'm struggling to get that excited. A lot of these after looking at the
coming down to.
Well, yeah.
I know you're sort of looking at these prices for the first time and trying to work out what you think of that, having done the race, and I suppose you kind of sat there thinking, well, 5-2. First glance, you don't think it's great, and then you start picking holes in the rest of them, and maybe you like him a bit more.
Pierre Lepan, there was money for him, the only 3-year-old in the lineup, but he bombed out in the Commonwealth Cup, didn't he? He ran desperate. He ran too bad to be through, really, because he was well fancied. He went off 7-2 fat. He got flattened at the start, but he just never once looked like he was going to run any sort of race. Obviously, his last year's form was very good. I like an up and coming 3-year-old. When he won the Mill Reef last year, that was quick ground. When I saw the entries, I was like, yeah. And then you just think, I watched the Commonwealth Cup back earlier, and he got flattened a bit at the start. A bit. He got hampered at the start, not flattened. You're thinking a lot of these, with all due respect, beat Le Bon, bless him, 6-year-old. Dubai, we know. Duke of Hazzard, we know Escobar, we know plenty about. History Riders, no chance. Marie's Diamond, we know a lot about. Safe Voyage comes through the handicap route. Sir Dancelot hasn't looked as good this year. Space Blues, tricky draw. Pierre Lepan, you're thinking, well, it's 2 stars last year, bolted up in the Mill Reef, but it's just that one run at Royal Ascot when he was off 7-2. There's money around. He's only a 10-1 shot after finishing tailed off last time out. So he's low mileage. He's getting plenty weight of exposed horses.
He is. My thing that I don't like about him really is that he's never stood any racing.
No,
he won on his debut. He was off for 4 months. He won, admittedly, in September, and then he wasn't seen again until June. Obviously, that was an extended absence because of COVID and everything. But he just, that slightly fragile record sort of puts me off a little bit. For me, it's a bit of a toss up between Space Blues and Duke of Hazzard, but I think Space Blues might just get the job done. Steve, with Safe Voyage, I think that you've got the ideal draw, as you say. The horse won nicely. He won't have a problem with the track, having handled Epsom the way that he did. And he goes on any ground, but I think in a way he's so effective on soft ground that would suit him even better. Let's have a look at the Vintage Stakes. That's the other group race tomorrow, Niall. Battleground is a warm order here. 11-8 under Ryan Moore for Aidan O'Brien. And he's a horse that, having won at Royal Ascot, going into that as a maiden, he's still open to quite a bit of improvement. He took the Chesham, having been beaten on his debut, and he's got a hell of a pedigree. He's by Warfront out of Found.
Yeah, he's bred to be top class. He's with a top class trainer. The Chesham form's all right. He beat Marsh Law 2.5 lengths. And that scraped home, beating a goat that was tailed off at Ascot at the weekend.
Yeah.
So, it wasn't like, vintage piece of form. He's bred to be top class. He won Royal Ascot, but I don't want to back him at 11-8. We haven't seen enough. Not for me, anyway. I'll watch him win all day.
Yeah, Devious Company. Tom Dascombe started having a couple of winners.
Yeah, exactly. I really liked him at Head Up. I saw him twice. He's by Fast Company. There was a few. Obviously, it was early. It was them early races where people had nominated for Royal Ascot, where they were going to, trying to get them there, and there was loads and loads fancied. He looked really professional first start. I didn't think he would progress, but next time out under a penalty, he dotted up. He ran well in the July Stakes, racing in the centre of the track. You mentioned Tom Dascombe. So the winner, was it yesterday today?
Yeah. One yesterday at Wolves, one at Redcar today.
Yeah, so after a really quiet spell, he's won in and Battleground. So he was the one that, looking at the prices, that I'd rather back him at 9-2 or something than Battleground at 11-8.
Yeah, what do you know about Goritus, who Richard Fye sends down there? Because
really good. When he won at York, he beat several. The second, third, and fourth all had form. The second had shaped really nicely with Rafe Beckett's. Likewise, the third, Jadumi. The fourth was a full brother. Cost a lot of money in Keeneland. Of Hawkbill, of James Ferguson's, that they were talking they couldn't get beat. So the second had won at Newmarket. market. Richards weren't exactly flying along Richard Fahey. He's since then have kicked into life. Really good looking horse. He was quite noisy in the parade ring that day. He was 14-1, but the form they keep one ahead from a horse who'd won at Newmarket. They were 2.5 lengths clear of Tudumi, who went off the 11-10 favourite after shaping nicely in his debut. Hawkville's full brother just in behind, and then they were well clear of the rest. I was really taken by it. Speaking to Richard afterwards, he thought they'd wait and go straight to the Acomb race he's won last year. They thought he's not high regard, but they entered him here and have declared him. Tom Marquand on board, obviously, for the first time, but I was really, really taken by him at York. I thought he'd step forward, as say, he was noisy in the paddock. Again, just looking at prices, I've mentioned Devious Company. I've just clicked on odds checker here. He's 22-1. I didn't think he'd be 22-1. So yeah, I'd rather split the stakes and back a couple against the field. Yeah. Goritis.
We just had
I know you like your history. Back in 1983, the winner of the Acomb was called Goritis. TV, everybody kept tweeting me.
We just had a comment saying youth spirit each way. That's from Stephen again. Youth spirit each way. So Andrew Baldwin's horse is going well. Won at Newmarket last time out.
Magical Land,
got plenty in his favour. He clocked a pretty good time when he won at Newmarket during the July meeting, and that maiden. He's usually a pretty good one, isn't it, Stephen? So you'd be looking at that in a positive light. He beat a lot of Godolphin horses that day. The other horse that I liked, I put this fella up at Royal Ascot, Dark Lion. He ran really well on his debut at Newmarket. He was then 4th at Royal Ascot. I thought he ran an excellent race for one that was still learning in the Coventry, and then he's come out and just won a Mickey Mouse race, really, at Wolverhampton. And I suppose it's a bit of a worry that he only just got home in that. But, I think he's a horse that's still got a bit of upside. And the horse that he did scrape home from, King's Salute, did at least come out and win at Sandown. So it's not as if he scraped home from a nothing horse, and they were 7 lengths clear. So with all of that considered, I thought he was quite interesting for a nice draw in store 4. So you're splitting stakes, Devious Company and Goritis. And I'll throw a few quid at Dark Lion, I would think. Anything else that you're looking forward to?
Later on, the handicap. The 345, that handicap. I don't really like sprints at Goodwood. The draw, you never really know where the jockeys are going to go, what side they're going to go, up the middle or whatever. I don't like that. The maiden race, the Mark Johnson horse, he went to Newbury first time out and they really fancied him, and he was well beaten. I didn't really like him, to be honest. He was quite noisy in the paddock. Apparently I wasn't there, but then he took a step forward last time, finishing second at Newmarket. I know that they really do like him. Sometimes the maidens at Goodwood, you think, oh, Glorious Goodwood, but they can be not top class races. This doesn't look to have loads of depth to it. Ryan Moore's obviously an eye-catching jockey book, and he was 4-1, 9-2. I thought that was a fair price with experience belt.
Oh, we lost you.
Do you like it? No, I'm here.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. The horse that the horse that I sort of like the look of was in the sprint handicap 345. Would have preferred to not be drawn quite as high as he is, but this Celsius has had a hell of a season. Tom Clover has got his horses in red hot form, and he has done
since
they reopened. Yeah, he's got Andrea Atzeni on him. He knows him well. This is a horse who won the nursery down at Glorious Goodwood last year and has done nothing but progress since. So you know that the track's all right. And what he's ideally suited by, because he can just miss the beat a little bit at the start, is a flat-out gallop. And if you look at the horses in this field...
A Moment of Madness, I'll give you that.
Yeah, you've got Caspian Prince. Well, if anything's going quicker than that, it's going too quick. You've got to Claim the Nation, who's basically got one way of going, and it's that way very quickly. Only Spoofing won't be miles away. Recon Mission can make it. Ornate.
A Moment of Madness.
Gone. Yeah, A Moment of Madness.
Yeah.
He's gone. So you've basically got a load of fast horses that are just going to go charging off at each other. Now, it might be that Celsius just gets completely taken off his feet and can't get near him. But equally, I think there's a chance that those horses just end up going so quick that one or two of them cut each other's throats. The ones that can't lay up and they're so used to being up there sort of spit it a little bit, and he might just come through and pick them off. So he'd be the horse that I liked most.
Yeah,
really on the card tomorrow. So going back to the earlier question of banker, Goodwood isn't really a place for bankers as such, because you get all sorts of trouble. And as a rule, I'd like to be with something at a bigger price for my best bets during the course of this week. I like the 7 furlong and mile handicaps with lowest drawn horses, but I'll put up Celsius as my bet for tomorrow, I think.
Yeah, and at the prices, I'll put up Maj Al Arab in the 420 of Mark Johnson's.
Yep, okay. Has Joe got a decent chance in the last on Tulip Fields?
He's got Tulip Fields in the last. Tulip Fields, fillies handicap. To be honest with you, it's a race full of fillies that we know a lot about. Again, Glorious Goodwood goes on to Saturday. It's a bit like Galway. It goes on all week and you're nearly bored of it by the end of it. But there's lots of these exposed. It's a fillies handicap worth 17 grand. You'll see stronger fillies handicap a lot of days of the week. And a lot of these are fairly well exposed. Dancing Approach, she's won well last twice at Haydock. The first race was a Mickey Mouse race where the favourite went wrong. But last time out, she ran under a penalty, and Thomas Greydux, who had his first group winner at the weekend, again takes the ride of her. So she's a 3-year-old improving. But Tulip Fields is one at the track. She's quite a keen going filly, but she's exposed enough. She's 7-2. I've no interest in backing her 7-2, but she's Joe's best ride tomorrow.
Yeah. Okay. Right, we will fire on to Wednesday. Then we're just going to look at the group races in the main for the remainder of the week. But Wednesday we do have the decks in, so it's a little bit easier to form some opinions on them. Just a reminder that if you have a bet tomorrow on the Betfair Exchange in the 145 at Goodwood, where I've gone for Tin and Darley, and Niall has gone for 5th position, but you have an exchange bet, not a sportsbook bet, an exchange bet of £20, then you will get a £20 free bet to start a bet streak with. And I think the way the bet streak works is if your free bet wins, you then get another free bet, so you can start rolling up and have a hell of a week. You've got to use that first free bet within 48 hours. Right, we're half an hour in now, and we've only gone through the one day, so let's crack on to the Morecambe. I thought Phil Makin was going to run Mooker in this, but he's not there. You gone?
Yeah.
Lost you? Did you speak to Phil? I fully expected that he was going to run him in this.
Yeah, I think he's going to wait for maybe the Roses at the Ebor.
Right, okay. Yeah, fair enough. Significantly.
Yeah, well, that's for second to Mooker. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was second to
favourite
Mooker
for this race. He was
second to Mooker beating the neck. I thought he shaped by much the best horse that day. I thought he should. I'm not saying he should have won. I'm not blaming Ben Curtis for getting beat on him, but he absolutely hit the line running after getting lost greenness early in the race. Obviously, he's a really strong traveller. This horse, he just his first 2 runs he missed a break. Last time out, I suppose many horses win this here after coming here as a maiden, but I think he's got genuine excuses for still being a maiden.
I think yes.
Sardinia Sunset won the Marygate at York last time. I personally don't think it was a brilliant Marygate myself. She was a right trollop leaving the paddock going down. Didn't like her attitude. Don't think it was a good Marygate. See, some firms have priced her up 3-1. Carl Burke's horse is 9-2. I'd much prefer to be with him.
Yeah. He's one of those. He's kept finishing second, and you look at him on the one hand and you think he might be a bit of a monkey, but I think he's very quick, and actually about as sharp a 5 furlongs as you can get will probably really suit him, and I think that's it as much as anything. I quite like him. I think he's got a really good chance. There's a few in there that have been.
Do you know what he is?
Impressive.
He's a very good horse.
He's very what?
Yeah, but I can't. He's a very good-looking horse. He's by he by Mason? He's out of a Garswood mare, I think, or the other way around.
He's by Garswood out
I know
of the Mason mare.
He's by Garswood out of a Mason mare. Mason, yeah. He's a big, good-looking horse. He's not. He doesn't just look at an early 2-year-old. I'd be very keen to get Sardinia Sunset beat at 3-1, and I'd rather be backing him.
Yeah, Steel Bull was pretty impressive. Steel Bull was impressive on his debut at Naas, and Ben McDewey. Yeah, they were both pretty impressive debut winners. Which one do you prefer of the two debutants? The Michael O'Callaghan trained Steel Bull or the Kevin Ryan trained Ben McDewey? Big price discrepancy. That Ben McDewey's a massive price.
I don't think neither really.
You're trying to be polite.
Well, is he? The second Salsul got run over. Well, got well beat at Ripon. Huh?
Yeah, it did.
It got well beat. It's beaten 3 times as well. Got beaten 2 1/4 lengths by Selected, who's a nice horse, but he'd get run over in the Markham as well. So he beat him. Now, this horse was making his debut that day. I think 20-1. Not for me.
Yeah, is Army of India, who was impressive when he won second day back of racing.
Yeah,
is he looked good that day. Or?
Yeah, he looked good. He looked a bit of a knob, to be honest, at Ascot. He boiled over beforehand, and he ran no race. I know the racing behind closed doors at Royal Ascot as well, and he got very het up. Obviously, Goodwood, you have to travel them in the horse box from the stables up to get saddled up. There'll still be a few flids like yourself in Panama hats. He's just quite an excitable horse. He was good. Like, it was a nonsense of a race he won last time out. He was odds on under a penalty at Lingfield on that Sunday at midday. There was like one man and his dog there. He still looked very edgy. I just wondered temperament-wise with him. I think engine-wise, but he looks a bit of a knob.
Yeah, okay. I think we're both in the significantly camp. Brady's maiden in a group race.
Don't fancy Sardinia Sunset at all.
No, you don't like him. Her, even. Right, the other group race on Wednesday, that is the Sussex Stakes, of course. Now, if you're getting excited about the...
It's a small matter, the Sussex Stakes.
The Goodwood Cup, then this is surely whetting the appetite a little bit as well, because Siskin, he looked exceptionally good, I thought.
Is there a market how far Siskin wins?
There will be. I don't know if I'd want to be getting involved in that. I think he's got a great chance.
Why?
I think he's a tremendous horse. Well, this is a proper race, isn't it? Mahafa's a proper horse. He was impressive in the Summer Mile last time out. I know it's a Group 2, and he's been beaten on both his goes in.
Yeah, and he got flattened. Yeah, Jim Crowley rode 5 winners at Royal Ascot, and I was speaking to him Saturday and a couple of days afterwards, and he was still fried about the Queen Anne. Like, that was the one horse that he was looking forward to. Yeah, he should have won the Queen Anne, shouldn't he? But I think Siskin, I just think 9-4. He's some firms have priced him up 9-4.
Yeah,
I think he'll beat Kamiko by a distance. I just think he'll win. Siskin, I think he's a hell of a horse. I think he's proper. I think he's the real deal.
You've got a lot of experience dealing with horses, hands-on. You've been sort of an assistant trainer or whatever in your time. How's that? How difficult is it going to be? He went from a mile to a mile and a half, and they'd be wanting to make sure that he was settled for that. Now bringing him back to a mile, is that any sort of an issue, or is it just...
Sorry, Chris, your Wi-Fi keeps dropping out. Start again.
Just saying about Kamiko, he's gone from a mile to a mile and a half and now back to a mile. Is that change in tempo of race for him and things like that going to prove any sort of difficulty or not?
You're on about Kamiko trip-wise?
Yeah, and just saying it chops and changes. He's gone from a mile to a mile and a half. Now he's back to a mile. Is that any sort of a worry?
Not really. It would be harder riding him from a mile to a mile and a half. Coming back to a mile will be easier because you're going to go a gear quicker, so he'll be easier dropping back. He'd been a harder ride last time. Win, lose or draw, he would have been a harder ride. He just was clearly an on-stair. It's obviously a funky piece of form, no matter what way you look at the English Derby. With Serpentine making all. If he got a very good ride, I think he's probably a very good horse, Serpentine. But there's no doubt that Kamiko didn't stay. So I'm happy to forgive him that. But I just think he pulls apart me. I don't know. The BHA handicapper is Shiskin 3 pound inferior to Kamiko. I can't see that myself. I really can't.
No. I think that Kamiko might get a little bit outpaced at Goodwood. At this track, I think it could count against him. He doesn't strike me as one that this is going to necessarily be his bag. And I think Siskin, he strikes me as a horse that it absolutely will be because he's got gears and he's got loads of them.
Again, you're worried. Goodwood, there's so many hard luck stories. There's 3 Ballydoyle horses in the race. Shiskin is in stall 1, so he's going to be against the reel. I wonder how the tactics will pan out.
Yeah.
I nearly, if I was Colin Keane, I would have rather been installed 3 or 4 and jump and sort of slot in where you want to slot in, not other ones gunning, getting across the reel and keeping you in a bit, maybe.
Yeah, do you know what I think will probably happen? I think Wichita and Circus Maximus will jump and go forward, and then I think those two will try and steady everything up.
Yeah.
So Ballydoyle will have the leader in the second because they're the 2 horses that are in the field that have led anyway. I think they'll jump out, and then you've got Dottori and Moore, 2 of the best jockeys around that aren't going to engage and go too quick, and they'll just try and dictate and get the run of the race between them from the front.
Yeah,
and it'd be
the race will develop over the far side rail. It's only 7 runners, but I just hope it's not messy. You don't like Group 1s being really messy.
No,
I think Siskin. I think he'll win easy if he gets any sort of run. Yeah. Colin Keane is a world-class jockey, absolutely world-class. Imagine Ballydoyle will head on them when they're next looking at a jockey. But obviously he's not been to Goodwood many times. He'll have watched lots of races and he'll have a walk around and he'll go, wow, this is... Because it's a unique place, Goodwood, isn't it? It's in the middle of nowhere. Yeah. You can't believe that they designed it. It's a fantastic place. But I'd imagine it's a track better for knowing. But he knows his horse very well. Obviously, he's got a quarantine. Probably give up the Irish Jockeys Championship for riding him in this race. But he's a hell of a horse. And, he got flattened last time. To do what he done last time, to come back and win is impressive. I think he's a proper horse. I couldn't believe when we were looking earlier, we spoke about this yesterday, the ratings that he's rated 3 pound inferior to Kamiko. I don't see that myself.
No. So, Siskin, the selection there. What about the rest of the day on Wednesday, Niall? There's a few handicaps in there. That's 3-year-old handicap over a mile and a half, 5 to 1 the field. There's betting in on that at the minute. Carlos Felix is a horse that was pretty impressive at Ascot last time out.
Yeah, he's my nap of the week.
He's your nap of the week, is he?
My nap of the week, yeah. I think 88 really underplays him. He's a horse David Simcox brought along very steadily. I think David Simcox is as good as any at getting the full amount out of these horses. I think they could have sold him for decent money abroad. They've kept him. I could see him winning this and going on to step up and trip and maybe run the 3-year-old handicap at York. I think he's the Melrose. It's a mile 6 in Melrose.
Yeah,
I think he can take this en route to something like that. He's very impressive.
Yeah.
He done me a good turn at Ascot last time out. My nap of the week, Carlos Felix. Yeah, He could have. He's in 2 races Saturday and Sunday at Ascot, and he didn't declare him. He waited for this. I think he'd win.
Right.
He's 5.5 to 1, 6 to 1, something.
Yeah, 6 to 1 top price, generally 11 to 2. So that's Niall's nap of the week. Internet connection is getting a bit dodgy as well now. We'll rattle on through onto Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and just have a look at a few of the group races. Will's just saying what price is the nap of the week you mentioned. It is 11 to 2, generally 6 to 1 top price, Will, but 11 to 2, if you've got any betting account, you'll at least get that. So that's Niall's nap of the week, Carlos Felix, and clearly very, very confident. On to Thursday, Niall. Quick look at the Richmond Stakes again for the 2-year-olds. I know these aren't always your kind of races, but anything in there that you're liking the look of on Thursday? Obviously, it's a bit more difficult here because we're waiting on the draw and things like that. And there's some of them, for example, Army of India, we've spoken about. He's running elsewhere, so that won't be running. So, we can't be.
He doesn't. An Army of India, Thunder of Niagara runs tomorrow as well. Mark Johnson will be Quaidar in this here. He looked very good first time out. Second time, a little bit disappointed last time out. Yazaman, I suppose, I like him. I thought he's chased home Tactical twice, which I think is no bad thing. I think Tactical looks like the real deal. Yeah. He was beaten fair and square by him, but I think that was a Group 2. This is Group 2. I think this represents an ease and grade. I don't think this is as deep a race. William Haggis was operating at 23% strike rate before racing today. He was the one that, if you're timing me down before we see the decks, he's the one that I thought would take the beating.
Yeah, okay. And then we've got the Gordon Stakes, 1.5 miles. Is English King going to put the Derby right? Can he reverse form with Khalifa Sat, who I thought was in the perfect spot really in the Derby? I thought English King was a bit unlucky really.
Yeah, and you'll see Khalifa Sat won at the course. That was last year under Jamie Spencer, which obviously is no bad thing. King's Caper won't run because he runs tomorrow. Just looking around what else will go in it. Subjectivist was good in the Braveheart at Hamilton last time out. He'll make the running. English King looked good, didn't he, at Lingfield in a Derby trial? I just was a bit underwhelmed with the Derby. He was dropped right in, but didn't really stay on and make much ground. We haven't seen the final decks, and we've been offered 5 to 2 about him, so nah, not really. I'd rather back Subjectivist. Subjectivist at the minute is 10 to 1. He definitely runs in the race. His half brother Sharon Priestley won this last year, didn't he? His full brother.
Yeah, did he? Yeah,
half brother. Sorry, he won the race last year. He comes
here
in
the
really
meeting
good.
last year. I don't know if it was this race, but he won at the meeting, didn't he?
He won at the meeting. Yeah. So, and then went on to finish second in a St. Ledger. Like they're talking. Mark Johnson was said after the Braveheart that he could be a Ledger horse like his half brother. He's already higher rated than Sir Ron Priestley was coming into this meeting. So I'd rather back him at 10 to 1. I just think he's King. You know what I mean? He was dropped right in by the story in the Derby. And you think, well, if he flew home, right, you were unlucky or it was a funky race. But he just didn't do anything in the race, did he? He ran okay, but I don't want to back him at 5 to 2 against a heap of lightly raced, decent 3-year-olds. No thanks.
Yeah, I want to see the race at final decks. I do think he ran well in the Derby. It'd be interesting to see who rides him. Whether Frankie gets aboard again or if they put Tom Marquand back on. It'd be an interesting...
Marquand rides Andrew. As far as I'm aware, Marquand's booked to ride Andrew Baldwins. Obviously, Gosling's not in the race. And Victoria riding is King. Yeah,
okay. That's fair enough. What else have we got? We've got the Nassau.
Nassau,
whatever you want to call it. Deirdre won it last year. She hasn't been quite so good so far this time around.
No. Magic Wand is it? Nazif. Obviously, she's just a bit of a winning machine, isn't she?
I'm just trying to find the prices. She's 5 to 2. I mean, she is a bit of a winning machine, and her
she beat Agincourt 2 starts ago in Bilstonbrook last time out. So it's not like, oh my god, I'm going to collapse for your form. It's great, love. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sometimes you see the anti-post prices, and they're like, when they're on the day, a couple drop out, and final decks are done. They actually are still bigger. So she's 15-8, and she makes no appeal of 15-8. No magic wand.
That's
we know her best.
I don't watch a lot of racing in France, but seeing as there wasn't much else on, I did see Torquil.
You watch more than me.
Sean T. And she looked pretty good. It's the only time I've seen her run.
Right, I haven't seen her.
You'll have to take my word for it now.
I will.
But she did look pretty good in France last time out. But that's an interesting enough contest. Just having a look at there's a handicap that day that Zabiel Champion is anti-post favourite for. It's a good race. That Mafia Power's a really nice horse. Zabiel Champion, he won quite well at Newmarket the other week. So I'll be looking forward to seeing him. But again, these are races that personally I wouldn't be having a mention right now until I know what's winning.
I'll mention one at a price. I think there'll be a price. Obviously, we haven't seen the draw or whatever, but you'll back me up. Or you were there when High Peak won at Thirsk under Franny Norton. Do you remember 7 furlongs? He had a run under his belt. He was well positioned. They flew him at him late. But he got a mark of 78. I think he's well handicapped. Mark's got loads of entries in this, and I was down through them, and I spoke to Joe about it. And before I spoke to Joe, I picked High Peak was the one that we wanted to ride. I think if he gets any draw, I think some firms have priced him up at 14s and 12s and 14s. I think 78 really underplays him. Right. So if he gets a draw, he was one of the better rides of the week.
Yeah, Franny was saying, I interviewed him after he won at Thirsk, and he liked him. He thought he was a real nice horse, and he sort of said he was still learning and whatever. But what time's he run then?
He runs in the nursery, which is due off at 3:45. Obviously, there could be 16, 17 runners. He might be out in the car park and stall 20, and all of a sudden you think, well, he's got no chance from there. But if he gets any sort of draw, I think 78 is a really good mark. I like him. I think he's a 3-year-old. I think he'll stay strong over 7 and continue to improve.
Yeah. Then we've got, if we move on to Friday quickly, the race to really look forward to there is the Qatar King George, but Batash is 2-5.
Yeah, no thanks
for that. He loves this place. I mean, he's just one that you do want to stand there and watch because he's tremendous at this track.
He is, like this place, like York. He won. York was never his place the last year when he won the Nunthorpe. That's a Group 1. This Group 2's been his sort of a home game for him, if you like. He's very, very good. Liberty Beach will chase him home. She's very, very quick. She's got 8 stone 9, but she's only rated 108. You know what I mean? He's rated 126 with 9.7. She's very quick, and she had to prove she trained on, like, because she looked just a little quick 2-year-old last year, but she has trained on. She properly has trained on. She done nicely. She won the Cecil Frail over 6 furlongs in easy ground, beating Queen Jojo. Queen Jojo came out and won a listed race at York last weekend. Then she was second to Batash in the King's Stand. And you're asking, well, how can she make up 2 1/4 lengths, especially at Goodwood where it's his home track? But she's the one for the forecast. But yeah, I don't want to back him at 2-5. And he's not a horse I would ever back at that price anyway, because he's he's a madman. Like, they had to geld him as a young horse because he was fairly, uncontrollable. So that's why we'll see him. He's 6 years of age. We'll probably see him at 7 as well, because it's not a very deep division. Miras is in here. He'll probably, I'd imagine, go for the Stewards Cup. He's in Saturday. The rest of them, it's just we shouldn't really talk much more about it, should we?
No. What we should talk about is the Thoroughbred Stakes. I'm just trying to find some betting. There it is. Calusi, 15-8 favourite. You said that you spoke to Jim. 2:15 on Friday. Is that race? Yeah. Calusi is the horse that won the Britannia at Royal Ascot, and he didn't just win it; he absolutely
4.5 lengths he's down.
Yeah, you don't get
4.5 lengths.
You maybe do get 4.5 length winners of the Britannia. I'm not sure, but if you do, then you're a serious horse. And the time absolutely backed it up. He's got to be at least Group 3 level if he reproduces that.
Absolutely. It's a Group 3. And again, you've got Rupee Guest, who's a maiden after 55 starts, even though he's got really good form to behind horses. I completely agree, but he's priced up at 5-4 and 11-8 already,
Is he? Oh, it says 15-8 on my screen.
Right, he's 11-8.
No, well, maybe it is, or they just haven't updated it. Bet Victor 15-8, but yeah, you can get 7-4. Yeah, he's hardly a big price. The worry is with a horse like that they could bounce a little bit, but
yeah,
I thought he looked very, very good. I tell you what, as well, you were at York the other day with Martin, weren't you? And my Oberon one. He looked a good horse.
He did. He looked a hell of a horse. It was an ordinary enough race for York. It was a novice, but he won by 6 lengths. A horse of Roger Varian will know well. Tassamu in second. A half length. A nice horse should. So, yeah.
Yeah. Don't know if it's my internet or your internet. It's probably mine because it's normally pretty crap out in my office for these video calls. So we won't spend too much longer. Can we just have a quick look at the Stewards Cup, Niall, on Saturday, 3:35?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just anything you'll have been through.
Well, Miras was the horse.
Yeah.
Miras was a Scottish Stewards Cup out. He won a Pontefract before that, and he is a horse. Absolutely, he get in. He's improving. Young horse trained by Mark Johnson. So I'd shout 28 runners. We don't know the draw. We don't know what's going to really. He was the one that Jew family would ride him, but he's a rapidly improving 3-year-old.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll look forward to seeing him. Right, the internet's going to pieces, Niall. It's broken. At my house, I think. So we're going to go. But quick reminder. I think we can take away from that. You've got 2 quite strong fancies, Carlos Felix and High Peak. Is that fair enough?
Yeah, definitely. Hopefully, High Peak gets a draw. Really looking forward to the feature tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. Just a reminder as well, that bet streak with the Betfair Exchange starts on the 1:45 at Goodwood tomorrow. Bet £20 on that race. You then get a £20 free bet. You've got to use that free bet within 48 hours. And if your free bet wins, then you get another free bet, and it's that free bet streak. So well worth having a look at the Betfair Exchange with that. We won't be back each day during Glorious Goodwood, but look forward to the week. You'll catch me a couple of days on Racing TV. Niall, you'll be up in North Yorkshire, much closer to home. You lucky git.
Yeah, I'm Thursday in Newmarket Friday and Saturday studio, so I'll be watching it.
Well, I'm just going to go and dig out my Panama and get down to Goodwood. Right, thanks for watching, and we will see you again for a Friday Night Live pretty soon, I would think. Cheers, Niall.
Thank you. All the best, everyone.